So to kind of sum up, what do you really need to know about GDPR and put it all on one slide and talk about it? Nancy addressed who does it apply to. And probably the easiest way to think about this is where did the data originate? If the data originated somewhere in the EU, regardless of who originated it, that is going to be covered, right? So think of it that way. So if I am at a conference in Finland and I send an email back or I send documents back to the US, it's going to be covered because those documents originated when I was in the EU, right? So it's a complicated kind of situation. When we look at the fines, you know, the GDPR is great. It notates the maximum fine. There's actually two categories, but the highest level is this 20 million euros or 4% of revenue, whichever is greater. And it should be noted that those are maximum fines. A lot of the press locked onto it as these are the fines, and that's not exactly true. If you were being truly negligent or ignoring the regulation, you know, this gives the regulator a big stick to come and enforce. If you're doing everything you can to be compliant and do what you need to do for data subjects, you know, we would not expect a fine towards the top of the range. But the regulators wanted a way to be able to adjust. You know, they were in Europe. It was this perception that big tech companies would just accept the fines. You know, multi-million-dollar fines to them was not significant, and that's where the 4% comes from. So while GDPR has teeth, a big part of your job in your organization is to be able to document. You know, what are your processes and procedures? Are you actually following them? You know, were you transparent in all these different parts of GDPR? And does that really follow the intent of the regulation? So go ahead, Nancy. Sorry.
I was just going to add a component on the penalties for noncompliance. That when we think about, there are a lot of questions about the ability of the EU or the EEA to actually enforce fines against, let's say, a public research institution. I'll just say that there are defenses that some institutions may have, whether it's sovereign immunity or other aspects of those kind of defenses. But it's really unknown at the moment how that would be determined if there was an actual litigation in court. And something to also think about if you are, let's say you're an institution that's part of a larger system, it's interesting and unclear about how that percentage would be operated, whether they would look at it from a percentage of it based on the entire system or just the school that may have had the particular issue. They might look at it the same way they do with conglomerates and actually just go for the whole worldwide component, but I pose those as interesting issues that remain unresolved as of now.